All right. First and foremost, I'd like to say that I live, eat, sleep, breathe Dean guitars. But I have some historical or documentary type guitars here that I'd like to talk about because it kind of explains my history as a guitar player. When I was getting started, I was a big Randy Rhoads fan, and couldn't really afford one of those. So me and my dad bought some guitar body, guitar body and neck, and kind of put this thing together. And this was the first guitar that really kind of set me on my way as a guitar player. And the unique and special thing about this is I sold this guitar in the late 80s, and a couple years ago the kid that I sold it to contacted me. He was no longer a kid, he was a grown-up, married, kids, and he said that I was going to sell this thing, but looked you up and saw that you were still playing music and wanted to see if you wanted it back. And of course I did, because me and my dad put this together. And he passed away in '99, so it's a special guitar. And up next is the guitar that kind of set the pace for everything that I was going to do from that moment on. I was tired of playing V-type guitars, and anytime I would get on anything that resembled a Strat, the cutaway would get in my way, and I couldn't do all my playing that I like to do. So me and a guy at a guitar shop that I used to teach at took a bare body, and we just started cutting and cutting and cutting until I could do my biggest and widest stretch, and my hand would no longer hit. So that's, this is late 80s as well, and that's how long I've been working on getting a guitar, the cutaways, and really getting them out of my way. And you can see we took it to the extreme. It has the sculpting back here. Didn't really have the concept for the neck joint down yet. That was to come. But this is kind of where it started, and this was the guitar that I played all through the late 80s and early 90s until I started playing 7-string in '96. So this was the one that I did all the hardcore wood chinning on. Headstocks broke off 3 times. That's a unique story as well. It was at a Revolution rehearsal in between songs on my birthday. Took it off, set it on the stack up top, plugged in still, and told everybody, now nobody run by and trip on this thing and knock it off. And about 5 minutes later, I ran by and tripped on it and knocked it off. And the really, the brilliance of the Floyd Rose with the locking nut is the guitar neck snapped off there, and it was just dangling because of the strings. And it barely went out of tune, and I retuned it and played it the rest of the night with the headstock broke off. And it took us about 30 minutes because this tip of this thing fell off as well. It snapped there, and it snapped there, and it took us like forever to find that little piece. This broke off in a recording studio. That piece broke off, glued it back. And as you can see, I was never quite sure where I wanted my strap. It's got a bunch of holes because I was constantly adjusting it, trying to get it to fit right when I would be standing up. Little monkey grip so you can do some stupid shit on stage. Okay, and that really leads me all the way up to my Dean guitars. The first Dean RC7, or the prototype, alder body, maple neck, ebony fretboard, and this guitar I got at NAMM, Summer NAMM, I think in 2006, and I had been playing another brand of guitars. They walked in, handed me this thing, and said, if you don't feel comfortable on it, don't worry about playing it tonight. But dude, this thing played so great, I played it the whole night. And that's very rare, to have a guitar handed to you that you've never played before, set up and ready to go. That's how awesome this guitar is. However, there were a couple of things that weren't right, so we had to make one more evolution of the RC7. I mean, not bad, you only had to do 2 versions, and the second one was right. And that leads us to the final product, the RC7 Xenocide. And as you can see, the prototype was red because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. I knew that we had an amazing guitar, and when we finally got it, I was like, okay, now we've got to have the icing on the cake. We've got to have something that just pops. And that's where the Xenocide Graphic came from. This one is this one's a one-off. It's not like the models that you buy in stores because it's different wood. This is a mahogany body with a maple top, ebony board, which all of them come with ebony boards except for a couple of maple ones, which we'll talk about in a minute. And this one has a flame maple neck. And I use inverted strap locks, so that's pretty cool. They plug in. They're out of your way. And I think the next one that I got was a combination of these two. It was this body with this neck. And this one's, I'm waiting on a nut. I stripped the nut on this one, so it's not working too good right now. But what happened was, I wanted an all mahogany body with a mahogany neck. As you can see, it's a mahogany neck. And when I got it, this piece of mahogany was a little bit lighter than most mahogany, so I asked them to send me a couple of bodies. And they sent me 2 naked bodies, which were this one and this one. So I went between the 2 woods. This one seemed to be a little bit denser and heavier, so I sent this one back to be painted, and then I put the mahogany neck on it. And this guitar weighs probably about 10 pounds. Super tone. I was going for kind of a Les Paul type thing, all mahogany with mahogany neck. So I kept this body because I just loved the way it looked, you know. And for a while I had this neck on it, and this body was just sitting around. And then I had to make me this flame maple neck, and that's where this one's staying. I love this combination. This combination of the mahogany body and the maple neck just pops, you know, in the mix. Projects really well. And then we get some 8 strings. This is the first RC8, and it has all the features of the RC7, but in an 8 string. It has the graphic on the front and the back. It's the only one like it. You know, huge, massive neck, fan frets. Of course, if you have a high A string, you have to have the fan frets, multi-scale fretboard. And it's signed by none other than Billy G, one of the all-time greats. So hopefully some of that magic's gonna, you know, maybe I'll get some of it. Here is the first final version, or production model RC8 fan fret. And as you can see, it's a little bit lighter, the finish. I'm not sure which one I like better. I kind of like that. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it, but I like this as well. Now, none of these come with the graphic on the back. But these are the production models. They made a limited 25 run of these, and they sold them all, like, immediately. They all sold. So that is pretty cool. The next RC8 I got was this one, and this one's, I'm waiting on a pickup for this one. So it's a little, needs to be tuned up. But this is the low 8 version. It's high E to low F sharp. And it's, you know, again, they're all the same guitars, made the same way, same cutaways, same neck joints, neck thickness, and all that stuff. And my most recent one is this one, which I love this one. This one's amazing. All mahogany body, bird's eye maple fretboard. I believe that's ebony block inlays. It's just beautiful. I love the way this guitar looks so much. I wanted to try to get a match for it, but in an 8. And it is a little bit different. It doesn't have the same inlays, but, you know, it's awesome. Love the way it works. And that's all my guitars for the moment. Hopefully get some more soon.